The Vrijthof Square is Maastricht's living room. It is where every townsman used to spend part of his spare time. The average man on the street came here for a stroll or to gape at the processions and military parades. The rich mainly met in the stately houses that surround the square. The Grote Sociëteit is still on the square's northwest corner, opposite the post office. This stately house has been the meeting place of the traditional urban elite since 1760. On the east side of the Vrijthof, another association's building, which looks a lot more frivolous, is situated. It is decorated with a jester's hat and bears the name Momus in gold letters. Gentlemen's Association Momus was established in 1839, and it serves as a model for the rise of a new class of citizens. It was where the nouveau riche met, men who had won their spurs in public administration, trade and industry. Self-confidently, they looked for ways to stand out in society. In addition to entertainment within their own circles and the organization of festivities for the entire city, the nouveau riche did a lot for charity. They spoke French among themselves, and they eagerly followed every craze from Paris. The new social class exerted themselves to turn Maastricht into a modern city. This was quite easy since they controlled the local politics. The fact that self-interest was always the main motive was not considered a problem. Directly after the demolition of the fortifications, the manufacturers were allowed to expand their companies, and the well-to-do people were given the chance to buy developing land and leave the overcrowded city centre. This is how the city's first planned quarters came into being, the neighbourhood around the station in Wiek and the Villa Park residential area. The expansion and beautification of the city park fit into that pattern as well. The park quickly became a beloved setting for the distinguished people. During the summer months, the area around the coffee house and the kiosk was regularly closed for private dances or concerts. Yet the poor neighbourhoods were never far away. The fear of contagious diseases constantly held the bourgeoisie in its embrace. For years, study groups of doctors and pharmacists pressed for measures to no avail. Those measures had to be taken by private individuals, since the city administration was not prepared to spend any money on it. With the help of generous gifts, the Algemeen Burgerlijk Ziekenhuis Kalvariënberg, the hospital in Abstraat, could gradually be expanded. The people who could afford it had to pay for hospital care. It was not until 1873 that all houses needed to have a cesspool or a mobile barrel for feces. And in 1887, Maastricht got tap water, even though it was only in the residential areas for the time being. Housing for the working class was not a priority. The nouveau riche eventually took responsibility in this matter as well. Towards the end of the century, a couple of gentlemen's building associations had a few dozen working-class houses built, but that did not bring much relief. The rich and poor lived in separate worlds, and it remained this way. It was not until the first socialists were spotted in the city that things began to change, but by then, the 20th century was already around the corner.